The phone vibrated on the kitchen counter just after midnight, slicing through the quiet like a blade, and in that instant a tired single father felt his carefully balanced world tilt, because the message came from the one place he never expected comfort or complication to arrive, from the neighbor, who lived on the other side of the thin apartment wall, carrying a private image and a question that would reopen wounds he thought had healed. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet miracles that happen when broken people dare to trust again, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Ripple of Kindness right now, because this story was made for hearts that still hope. He had not planned to be awake. Long days left him hollow, the kind of exhaustion that settles into bones. His life had become a routine of small, heroic acts nobody applauded: packing lunches before sunrise, tying shoelaces with one hand while answering emails with the other, falling asleep in a chair while waiting for the washing machine to finish. The apartment was modest and clean in the way of someone who learned to tidy fast and forgive messes easily. Framed drawings lined the hallway, crooked but precious. Silence was his nightly companion, a silence filled with the echo of a love lost too early and a future rewritten without consent. He had promised himself he would be enough, that he would not ask life for softness again. The neighbor had moved in months earlier, quiet footsteps, a gentle presence that made the hallway feel less lonely. They exchanged nods, the occasional polite smile, a shared understanding of walls that carry sound and stories. He noticed her care in small things, how she watered the dying plant near the stairs, how she held doors for strangers without waiting for thanks. She noticed him too, not with pity, but with respect. When his child laughed too loudly in the evenings, she never complained. When the elevator broke, she helped carry groceries without making it a moment. In a building full of closed doors, their kindness passed like notes under a desk. That night, when the message arrived, his first feeling was fear. Fear is what arrives when you have been hurt before, when your heart learns to brace before it beats. The image was tasteful, private without being provocative, a portrait of vulnerability rather than skin. It carried the weight of a person asking to be seen, asking whether the reflection in the glass held any beauty at all. The question attached to it was simple, but it trembled with history, with nights spent doubting mirrors and mornings built on courage. He sat at the counter and stared at the screen, not because he was tempted, but because he recognized the feeling behind the ask. He had felt it every day since loss carved a hollow in his chest. He did not rush. He remembered the long road back from grief, how every step felt like betrayal to the love he had lost, how the world judged him for smiling again. He remembered learning that love does not diminish by being shared, that honoring the past does not require punishing the present. In the quiet of the kitchen, with the hum of the refrigerator and the weight of responsibility pressing down, he realized the message was not about attraction. It was about trust. It was about someone choosing him as a safe place to land. Days passed, and the building seemed to hold its breath. Life did not pause, though. There were school runs and spilled cereal, a scraped knee kissed better, a late bill paid with a sigh. But something inside him shifted. He found himself standing a little straighter, listening a little more. He noticed the way light gathered in the hallway at dusk, the way laughter from another apartment sounded less distant. The neighbors smiled more openly now, not expectant, just relieved. Relief is a fragile thing. It grows when we treat it gently. The challenges did not vanish. He still battled guilt, still feared the chaos of opening a door he had nailed shut. He worried about being judged, about risking stability for something undefined. He worried about his child, about confusing routines and hearts. And yet, he also worried about the cost of staying closed, about teaching by example that fear is safer than hope. Change rarely announces itself with certainty. It arrives as a quiet insistence, a series of small permissions we grant ourselves. One evening, the hallway lights flickered, and they found themselves waiting for the elevator together. And no confessions spilled out. There were no dramatic gestures. There was simply the shared understanding that both had survived something, that both were choosing to continue. In that moment, he understood that beauty is not measured by perfection or approval, but by the courage to ask, to reveal, to trust another human being with a tender truth. As weeks unfolded, life softened around the edges. Mornings felt lighter, evenings carried the promise of conversation that did not drain but restored. The apartment felt warmer, not because of romance, but because connection had returned. He learned that healing does not erase scars, it teaches us to trace them without flinching. She learned that being seen does not require being flawless, it requires being real. Together, without naming it, they practiced patience, building something honest from the ground up. Near the end of winter, when the air smelled of change, he realized the greatest gift was not the image or the question that followed it. It was the reminder that kindness can arrive unannounced, that second chances often come disguised as simple moments. A late night message became a turning point not because it promised happiness, but because it invited truth. And truth, when met with care, has a way of lighting rooms we thought would stay dark forever. If this story has touched your heart, if it reminded you of a moment when kindness changed the direction of your life, please take a second to like, share, and engage with this video on Ripple of Kindness. Your support helps stories like this reach the people who need them most. Before the ending, we have one special request for you. Please comment below with the word hope if you believe that even the quietest acts of honesty can lead to new beginnings. Because sometimes, late at night, when the world is still and our defenses are down,